Welcome back to The Give and Go. I'm your co-host, Reynoso, here with my boy
Soltero. What's up, guys?
Vamos, ticos. We just got back from the Costa Rica versus Paraguay match that saw Costa Rica win 2-1. The Give and Go boys are on a good streak right now, man. Talking about San Jose and how we saw one of their few wins this season in person. We go to Costa Rica match, and they actually win here at Q2 Stadium. What'd you think about this match? Well, we'll start with this one before we talk about Brazil versus Colombia, because it's the one we attended, and I'd like to see what your opinion was on what we saw today.
No, Costa Rica never let me down. I saw them at the Copa America Centenario 8 years ago. It's actually where I got this kit. I've been to Costa Rica and seen clubs play Cartaginés, Alajuelense. Every time I've always seen the home team get a result. So to see Costa Rica get another win here in Austin, it's so amazing to see. I really do love watching this country play. And, you know, Paraguay, this game is always going to be interesting. Both teams realistically were already out going into this match. Costa Rica had a very small chance if they had scored a lot of goals. And what's interesting in this game is 10 minutes in, they were up 2-0.
2-0.
Pretty crazy.
And they actually forced me to check my phone and see what the score was of Brazil-Colombia, which I think was good enough in my opinion. That's what I ultimately hoped for, was just a slight sliver of hope, because once they went up 2-0, I was like, no way. Maybe there's a shot here. And I looked over at the Brazil game, and I think within the first 20-25 minutes, Brazil goes up, and that basically killed the excitement in the stadium. Yes, Costa Ricans were very excited. They showed out because we ended up seeing more Costa Ricans than Paraguay fans, so that was dope to see. And like you mentioned, not much to play for today, but still, I think both teams showed out. They gave their best efforts, and Costa Rica proved to be the more formidable side, getting a really good result here. 3 points to finish the tournament off with 4 points total. Francisco Calvo scoring a header goal and Alcacer scoring the second one. Really good result for Costa Rica at the end of the day. And honestly, I was glad that I was wearing the jersey of the team that ultimately won, man.
Yeah, and ultimately, in that first half especially, Costa Rica really came out and played a very, very good match. Paraguay low-key looked very stunned, and it took them 20 minutes to really settle the game down. And for Paraguay themselves, I mean, this ends up being just a really poor showing at the Copa America. But it's what I had expected from this team. This team just doesn't have anything outside of Enciso. Even Almiron had a really bad tournament. So Enciso, I'd say, is the only bright spot for Paraguay, and he, again, had a pretty active game. He's always looking for the ball, always looking to be the guy to get the offense going. He did it again in this match against Costa Rica. I thought Paraguay had a much better second half. They were able to get a goal back, but overall, this Paraguay team just doesn't seem like they have anything going for them for the near future.
It's disappointing. I was looking at Enciso's performance today, and I was looking at the end product, and I was being critical at the time when I was watching it live. I was like, damn, Enciso's losing the ball, or like he can't get that final pass through. But when you think about it, bro, he is so active, and he's so he's trying out on that pitch, and I think that really stood out to me, because I was like, man, I can't be hard on the guy, because he's trying, he's active in nearly every single build-up offensively for him. At some point, Enciso touches the ball. At some point, his ability on the ball is required to push the ball forward. And so I just think his role is way too important. And the fact that he just doesn't have help from Miguel Almiron specifically. If we're going to criticize someone, it should be Almiron for how little he stepped up in this tournament, being that he's the only other player in this squad that plays in the Prem with Enciso, man. So that's disappointing for me. I don't really know what's going on there for Almiron and why he can't find himself in a thriving role for his Paraguayan team. But Enciso, I think, is the brightest spot for sure. Only 20 years old. As for the rest of the team, and especially defensively, I think it's pretty grim when it comes to Paraguay and what I saw at this Copa America.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just really disappointing, because you look at their opponents, they're kind of in the same boat where, you know, the golden generation's completely gone in Costa Rica, but there's just something about Costa Rica that Paraguay needs to kind of copy, in the sense that the energy of Costa Rica is always positive. Always, no matter what tournament they show, no matter if it's a World Cup qualifiers, they give it their best. They have a more specific team plan, whereas Paraguay it honestly looks like they don't know what to do offensively, and they're cool with letting Enciso just run the entire offense. And ultimately, you just get results like this where you don't win a game. Like, it's just really bad for Paraguay. And this is going to be another bad World Cup cycle for them.
And for Costa Rica, I mean, this is now two tournaments in a row, in my opinion, where they, at the end of the day, end up overachieving.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought the 2022 World Cup performance was way better than what I expected. And the same thing goes for this tournament, man. Tying Brazil becoming a problem for them in that first game, losing to Colombia, but Colombia's just so good right now, and then winning against Paraguay the way they did today. I mean, I didn't expect that. I really didn't. I thought they would get last place in this group. They proved me wrong once again.
Yep.
I think if you're Costa Rican, you have to be proud about the performance you saw at the Copa America. And I think that's what we saw today, because all the Costa Rican fans were really happy about the performance, cheering after the game and everything, despite them being eliminated. What a great, gritty performance from Costa Rica at the end of the day, given the talent that they have right now, and how far they've fallen off from the golden generation. Still really good performance.
Yeah, and it gets even more positive for Costa Rica if you consider that this was the first team where they really emphasized the new youth players. And if they're able to get 4 points in this group, then imagine what they can do if they just keep playing together over the next 4 or 5 years. This is really promising for Costa Rica. And, specifically, I thought goalkeeper Patrick Sequeira, he had another really good save in this game. Yeah. And in the game against Brazil, he was incredible. He could be the next guy. Obviously, no one can ever beat Keylor Navas, but if Sequeira's shot stopping the way he is already, then he'll be a really good starting goalkeeper for Costa Rica. And then defensively, Jaden Mitchell, 19 years of age, he was fantastic. I mean, seriously, I didn't expect him to have the one-on-one ability defensively. He'll be great, and he'll only get better. I thought Ariel Lassiter was really good, and just in general, the midfielders work really, really hard for Costa Rica. So these new players, I think, really good performance at this tournament. And if you're Costa Rican, it's looking good.
Yeah.
Looking good.
Yeah. Let's shift on over to Brazil versus Colombia, because when it comes to impact and games that actually matter, this one did have a lot of weight to it, a lot of gravity to it, with Brazil facing off against Colombia, going for first place in this match. It ends 1-1, both teams scoring with the Rafinha free kick goal. We finally see a free kick goal go in for both the Euros and the Copa America, and then Daniel Munoz tying it up for Colombia. But this game, for as much atmosphere as we had and as much brilliant moments we had too, definitely had some controversy with Vinny Jr. essentially, in my opinion, getting robbed of a penalty, bro.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we just saw the highlights, and we're seeing that highlight on repeat. It looked like a pen. I mean, I don't know what other angle they may have showed in the broadcast, but I mean, I don't know how this wasn't called a pen, bro.
I know.
I don't get it, actually.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what else to add there.
He
just got tripped up in the box.
Looked like a pen.
Player didn't get a foot on the ball. Vinny got past him. It's a penalty. It's a foul, and it didn't get called. And then minutes later, Colombia scores the equalizer.
Yeah.
Definitely a really interesting part of the game. Comments, let me know, what did you guys think about that moment? Yeah. Following that, Daniel Munoz ties the match. And then what we saw, I think the most notable thing that we noticed from the highlights was Borré's miss at like the 82nd minute. Yeah. Right in front of goal, finds a way to pop it on over and miss the net completely. That has to be the most important part of the game outside that Vinny opportunity, because Colombia could have won this game.
Hopefully this is a case of Borré getting his misses out now, and he won't miss something like that at the knockout stages. Colombia have been so good, I don't even want to criticize that moment. But yeah, massive miss. The game ends 1-1, but I really do wonder how the ebb and flow was really in this game. Based off of the highlights, it looked like Colombia had more of the chances in the second half. And I'm wondering how Brazil really handled that. Did they have chances themselves in the second half? Or was it really Colombia kind of just dominating possession and dictating the flow of play in that second half? I wonder. Or was it Brazil just kind of maybe going for the draw purposely? I don't know.
Let's use the give and go Gophers. Gophers, unite. Stand up. Get out of your holes right now. Let us know what we missed from this match. Yeah. Let us know. Fill us in on those moments that we weren't shown in the highlights, because we only got the important moments.
Yeah.
One thing that I think stands out a lot from this result is Vinny picked up a second yellow card.
Did he?
So he's out for the quarterfinal match.
That's huge. Mm-hmm. That's huge.
That's the biggest miss, I think, that could have happened at this Copa America for any player and the impact he has for his team.
Yeah.
Vinny is out now with Brazil facing off against Uruguay, and we will talk about that. We're about to preview and predict the quarterfinals.
Shit.
Vinny will be missing that game, bro. And that's probably the biggest narrative out of this match at the end of the day, with Brazil ending in second, Colombia finishing in first.
And Brazil need their best players against Uruguay. Uruguay are very organized defensively, and in the defensive midfield, Vinicius is, no one can replace him. Massive. Okay, that's bad. That's bad for Brazil.
Massive
That
loss.
is bad.
So why don't we shift on over to our quarter-final predictions for the Copa America, folks? Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Join us as we'll be covering both the Euros and the Copa America. Let's do quarter-final previews and predictions. Let's start at the very top with Argentina facing off against Ecuador. Argentina, a team that both of us picked to win this tournament, and I think a team that I'm still going to stick to winning this tournament with an easy start at the end of the day here against an Ecuadorian team who honestly, man, I've been a little disappointed in how they performed so far. Getting a draw against Mexico, losing to Venezuela, and then defeating Jamaica, but to me, not in a convincing way. I like how Argentina looks right now. I think they'll wake up and get into second gear in this tournament, in this match specifically. So I'm going Argentina, and if Ecuador pulls it off, it'll be truly something crazy.
I have the exact same take. I won't add much more. Ecuador, I just think, look out of shape. The tactics, I think, are wrong for Ecuador. They've had a really shaky tournament. Whereas for Argentina, maybe they haven't been the best, but they've pretty much dominated every game, and they haven't been at their best. And I think that's very telling. So this, I think, will be a very difficult game for Ecuador. Argentina should win this game, I would say, fairly easily.
Let me know in the comments, who do you guys have winning this matchup? The next one, I think, is one of the more fascinating matchups of the Copa America.
Yeah.
A matchup that I think most people didn't expect to be had in the quarterfinals between group leaders, Venezuela, already on 3 wins in a row, getting 9 points out of their group, facing off against one of only 2 CONCACAF teams that made it through to the knockout stages, Canada. This one's tough, man, because I keep thinking about each side and where I want to go. I think it's going to be a very tight, a very physical matchup. And I actually need to hear what you're going to pick first, because I'm in the middle, bro. I'm in the middle. I need to hear the arguments, man.
No, I'm in the middle too. I think this is the only knockout stage game in the quarters that is 50-50, truly. Canada have the ability to hit out defenses like Venezuela. And they have the players. Jonathan David has found a lot of pockets of space. Same with Kyle Larin. You still have players like Tejan Buchanan, Alfonso Davies as well. The problem is they have not been clinical when they get those opportunities. I don't see that clinicality changing in this game. So I think Canada will definitely make Venezuela sweat, but I don't see them scoring a lot of goals. Now, for Venezuela, I mean, they've been incredibly organized this tournament. Not only that, their energy that they've approached every single match, I've never seen from a Venezuela team. And we've talked about it in our streams when Venezuela play. I think it comes down to the coach Bautista has these players truly believing in themselves. Their chemistry is incredible. I think it's actually better than Canada's, because right now, if you consider this, Jesse Marsch has only had 3 weeks with Canada in total, and I think for that reason, I actually have Venezuela getting the edge over the Canadians.
I just think Venezuela had a more convincing group stage. So they've earned the right to be selected in this match. Whereas Canada needed a red card to defeat Peru and then needed a red card to get a result against Chile. I just don't think I've seen enough from Canada. I do think it's been very positive, though, at the end of the day, the fact that they were able to get out of the group against 3 CONMEBOL sides. I do give them credit for that. I think that's very, very good, but I think there's a limitation on this Canadian team, and I've just been so impressed with what Venezuela has done in the group stage. Winning every single game is not an easy task, but no matter how weak the group might be, winning every single game is so remarkable, and the flow, the confidence, the form they're in right now, I think it's too good, man. And I think Venezuela pulls off a really impressive result here and defeats Canada.
Yeah, agreed.
Next matchup that we have in the quarterfinals is Colombia facing off against Panama. Panama, the second CONCACAF team to get out of the group stage in the Copa America, and Colombia, one of the hottest teams in the world, still undefeated after 24, 25 games now since they tied Brazil. Both teams look really, really good. Panama is on an incredible rise right now, getting out of that group over the USA. I'm going to go Colombia, though, man. Just to keep it very simple for you, I think this Colombian team is on fire right now. And I think their confidence is just so high. Luis Diaz, James Rodriguez, Richard Rios, John Cordova, I think they've all been incredible so far. So I'm going to give my pick to Colombia. I want to see them go all the way to the final, personally.
Yeah, I think if you look at just group stage play, Colombia are honestly probably the best team. If you think Argentina are the best team, though, just in general, then I'd say Colombia are the second best team at this tournament. And it's that for that very simple fact that they're going to beat Panama. Panama, all I'm hoping is that they play their football, which has gotten them to this stage. A massive moment. This is history for Panama to be in a Copa America knockout stage. And I hope that they keep it tight for 30 minutes, because I think that'd be really intriguing football to watch. Panama have such fun players. They've done such a good job to get here. I do think they can compete against Colombia, but there will be a moment where Colombia's offense becomes too overwhelming, and Colombia will, at the end of the day, just defeat the Panamanians.
I agree. Chat, let us know, what do you guys think will be the winner of this matchup? Because the last one, to me, is one of the most intriguing matchups that we will get between both the Euros and the Copa America, with 2 historic, prestigious talented teams. On paper, to me, this is the craziest one going into the quarterfinals. It's Brazil versus Uruguay. Something that you would think we would get in a final or maybe in a semifinal, we get as early as the quarterfinals. An Uruguayan team who is able to top their group and command themselves in each of their matches, and a Brazilian team who's been questionable up and down, still unable to get really positive results here at the Copa America. It's time to decide who deserves to go through. Which of these teams wants it more? Which of these teams wants to go for glory? The opportunity is here. The stage is going to be massive. This one, to me, is going to be one of the most intriguing games of the quarterfinals, but it will be a game without Vinny Jr.
Yeah, and honestly, they're going to need him because Uruguay's defense has looked impenetrable, truly. And then you consider the activity in the midfield. Hopefully Maxi Araujo's okay. If he's not, you still have players like Cristian Olivera to come in and do a really good job. Darwin Núñez has been so active this tournament, same with Pelistri. I mean, from back to front, Marcelo Bielsa has Uruguay locked in. And they have not looked like losing any of their matches. They have been the superior team in all of group stage play for them. And whereas Brazil, they've had shaky moments, not just in this tournament, but for the last 9-12 months. And I still think that this Brazil team is trying to figure things out. You add in the fact that there's no Vinny Jr. too. I just think it's going to be very difficult for Brazil. Now, the thing is, it's still Brazil. I think this game will be tight, but Uruguay is going to win this game.
It's going to be tight. It's going to be tight. And Brazil's players have been on big stages. They know what it's like to just wake up and try to reignite that spark that they have. But I just have more confidence in Uruguay being that team that steps up in this moment because of what we've seen in the past year, bro. This Brazilian team, in my opinion, is the worst one I've seen when it comes to results in my entire lifetime. So I have to go to Uruguay. I have to go to Uruguay, who's just way too hot right now, way too confident, and very well drilled and well coached as well. So I'm going to Uruguay on this one. But chat, I want to know if you have Brazil or Uruguay winning this matchup. And overall, I want to know your quarterfinal predictions as well as your champion. Who's winning the Copa America? Let me know down below. And thank you guys for joining us once again for our daily Copa America coverage. Till next time, guys. Peace.